How concerned are we about Robert Williams not quite looking himself in games 3 and 4? How concerned are we about Jaylen Brown holding his hamstring, even though he says he's going to be fine? And a look ahead to the Milwaukee Bucks, because that's who the Celtics are probably going to play. What concerns us about them in the second round? It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for making the show your first listen every day and part of your daily routine. It's a show that's here for you Monday through Friday and during the playoffs. Bonus episodes when necessary, post-game bonus episodes whenever there is a Friday or Saturday game. So sometimes it's more than 5 shows a week, but whatever it is, 5, 6, 7, I'm just glad to have you aboard. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars, which you can get on my website, signed copy for $30, johnkaralis.com. And you can, I was one of the media voters for the 75th anniversary team, which was fun. Celtics have swept the Brooklyn Nets. I did the post-game show yesterday from the Barclays Center. I'm back home in my home studio, getting ready to move forward, but still going to take one quick look back. We'll talk about Jaylen Brown and his hamstring. We'll talk about some of the things that we saw in that sweep and start to peek ahead to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm going to do all of that with my good friend, Tom_NBA, Tom Westerholm. How you doing, man?
What up?
Let's dive right into it, man. I was always optimistic about this team, but a sweep, even though you can say, well, what was the fourth tightest sweep in NBA history? No one's going to care. No one's going to care in like a week. All it's going to be, the further out we get, it's going to be like, well, the Celtics swept the Nets in the first round and got by the Bucks in the second round, and here they are in the conference finals. People are just going to blow by that stuff, and no one's going to care how tight these games were. And it's still, as optimistic as I was, a little bit of a shock. I mean, how are you feeling coming out of this?
Look, I mean, I did not think that the Celtics were going to sweep this series, but it's funny because, I know you predicted Celtics in 5. I predicted Celtics in 6. And I mean, my Celtics in 6 was just kind of a nod to like, hey, the Nets have Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant is a great basketball player. And like, my thought process before the series started was, okay, the Nets aren't going to win this series because they need Kevin Durant to be the best Jayson Tatum defender and the best scorer. And that's like, that's a load that nobody can carry. Oh, except apparently somebody can, because Jayson Tatum was the best scorer and also the best Kevin Durant defender.
Right.
With Grant Williams, the possible exception there, because shout out to Grant for a great series. So look, I mean, I think this was a surprise. Like even as tight as the games were, like the fact that it's a sweep is a surprise. And I mean, you said, people aren't going to really care if, like how tight the series was. And I think that's actually appropriate, because what it says is that the Celtics had sort of the talent to win the series and the mental fortitude to pull off a sweep. It is not easy to sweep a team. It's definitely not easy to sweep a team that has, 2 All-Stars on it. So, I mean, look, I'm very impressed. Job well done, Celtics. Once again, you outdid it. And Rob Williams didn't look like himself at any point, so they did it shorthanded.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like Rob didn't look like himself, and I feel like, look, maybe it was a little too optimistic. I was also optimistic about him. I did say Game 3 as a return, so I was right about that. But I also expected him to be not his normal self, but I expected him to kind of come back in and just not be quite as rusty. But sure. I think it is a testament. I think realistically, when you look at that, you say, okay, he didn't go through any of the actual game planning. He didn't have the reps. He doesn't have the reps of the first 2 games. He didn't have the reps of any of the practices. Everything that we were told is he's not practicing with the team. He's kind of with us, but off on the side. And you need to, especially when you're executing a game plan like this against Kevin Durant, and you're really trying to work on the timing. And after game 3, Ime and Smart were talking about the reads that they were making defensively on the fly. And Rob not being out there for any of that stuff in the first 2 games and a minimal amount of that in game 3, it's not surprising that it took him a little while to kind of get caught up to all of that. So do you have any level of concern for Rob getting back up to speed?
Yeah, I would say I've got a little bit. I mean, and that's not to say I don't think he can do it. It's just like, look, I mean, this was his first surgery ever, in his career. He came back early, like all of that stuff. And I think, the Celtics are going to need him a lot more against, presumably the Bucks than they did against the Nets. And, a gamer, like if it takes him another game or 2 to kind of get acclimated, get back into things, that game or 2 might matter quite a bit. That could be the difference between the Celtics going up 2-0 on their home court and really taking advantage of earning that 2 seed. The Bucks, splitting and then being like, see, it didn't matter that we were the 3 seed. Like it could be the difference between those 2 things. So I think, I would say it's like a relatively small level of concern. But that said, I mean, he hasn't looked quite as explosive as he usually does. I know he caught a couple of lobs, but I don't think he looks quite as explosive, quite as with it. And so, I mean, look, I'm not like panicked about him, but I wouldn't say that I feel like, oh, for sure, Rob Williams is going to be Rob Williams game 1, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. I still have more confidence in that. That I don't really see an issue with his explosion. I think the alley-oop that he caught was pretty standard Robert Williams alley-oop, and I
guess I just don't quite see the same pop. Like I always felt like he's got kind of that same pop as like Zach LaVine, except like he's way bigger.
Yeah.
And I guess I just haven't seen that from him yet. But maybe I haven't been looking close enough.
I don't know. I just felt like he looked. I think he looked a little lost out there.
Maybe that's part of it. Yeah.
I think he looked a little lost, and I think part of that pop is being just kind of like, oh, watch this, I got you. Rolling and knowing I got you. I'm going to come up, and I'm here comes the highlight.
Yeah. Well, loading up is certainly part of it. So maybe it's just that he doesn't quite have the timing down of when to load up.
Right. So I think just not being part of the game plan was, I think, holding him back a little bit. I don't know that he said he's not feeling anything. Obviously he could lie and say, but I don't know Rob to be a liar. That's the one thing.
Rob is not a liar.
Right. Yeah. Of all the, like, Ime would lie. I mean, or omit, lies of omission. Brad Stevens lied to us for years.
Oh, he's unbelievable liar.
Yeah. But Rob always has this, like, he has, if he's not telling you the absolute truth, well, I shouldn't even say that, because he always seems to be telling you the absolute truth.
I've never heard him not tell the absolute truth.
I've never heard, like, he's just kind of like, always been like, oh yeah, I screwed that up, in more colorful language. He'll be the first person to tell you something's wrong. So I feel like he didn't have any issues. He said he didn't have any issues. I feel like starting from day 1, which is Wednesday, there will be a practice on Wednesday. He will be on the floor, and we'll confirm that he was on the floor, but he will be on the floor. He will start in the game planning. I assume they're game planning for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yep.
I will say that there's probably one staffer somewhere in the organization that's putting together a Bulls game plan. It's like just mumbling to himself. You're like, nobody's ever going to watch this. I gotta do this with Zach LaVine. He's in protocols. I have to do this. Like, just grumbling his way through a game that no one's going to watch.
I would love to be that staffer. Give me that paycheck. Give me that no pressure. Like all these other guys have to be coming up with like ways to slow down, Drew Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I would love to be that one guy that's like, hey man, I produced all this film, and it's just like no pressure.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's not my fault. I had all of this.
right.
I had all the bull. Like, what do you want me to do?
Ime Udoka, hire me to be on your staff and watch the film of the playoff opponents that you won't have. But hire me.
Tom_NBA with all the Toronto Raptors game planning that you need.
Just really breaking down the Hawks.
Just the whole thing. Oh my God. Got that that Kevin Huerter breakdown.
Yeah, just eighth seed Western Conference opponents in case they make the final.
Got to have that just in case game plan out there. So we'll see. I think honestly, Rob, and it was interesting that Ime did reference like continued rehab. Yeah. So I do think that there's more for him to do, and that this was just kind of like a reintroduction type of thing. So I guess he's not like 100%, but I think he can get to 100% pretty easily. And I think getting him on the floor with these guys from day one, game planning for the Milwaukee Bucks, I think that's going to help him. Just familiarity. Like, I feel like Rob, the game speeds up for him pretty quickly. If he's a little detached from the team, he gets back. Like, a couple of bad habits are very, very easy to come back. Like it's like he's suppressing or like he's like a smoker. Like he just always wants a cigarette. Like he always wants to jump and block a shot. And he's just, no matter what, like you can be good and disciplined, but you take him in a bad situation, like just like a smoker with a couple of drinks, you're like, screw it, I'm going to have one. And he's just like, take him out of the game plan for like a week. And he's like, you know what? I'm selling out and I'm leaving my guy and overhelping. Forget it. I'm doing it.
I'm definitely going to block this shot. I know I can block this shot. I know like I'll quit. I'll quit in the morning, but I'm going to block this shot.
No, I got just this one. Just this one. Ime.
I think that's probably true. Look, I mean, when I say that I still hold some concerns for Rob, it's just like I would also note that it's not like I would lean toward he's probably going to be fine, but I guess I wouldn't be shocked if this kind of continued a little bit further.
So another injury that we may have some concern about is Jaylen Brown, who it was noted on the broadcast. I guess a couple of people tweeted at me about like, oh, what's up with his hamstring? He was asked about it afterwards. I finally got to see it because I didn't see it live. And I don't know. Let's assess a level of concern for Jaylen Brown when I come back here. First, let's talk about Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company that gives you the features of $200 sunglasses for the fraction of that price. So you get polarized lenses, well-constructed durable frames, and premium high-end finishes. And on top of it, if you lost your sunglasses, let's say in the celebration of the sweep, or if you're one of the Nets fans, hate listening, broke them in frustration, doesn't matter. Shady Rays has this insane protection program that includes lost and broken protection on every pair. They will send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happens. So give them a try. If you don't love them, you pay nothing. It's very simple. And on top of all of that, 10 meals are donated to fight hunger in America when you shop with Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, that's you. Head on over to shadyrays.com. Use the code LOCKEDON. You're going to get 50% off, half off, 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's code LOCKEDON for their best deal of the season. 50% off 2 or more pairs of Shady Rays sunglasses, backed by over 150,000 verified 5-star reviews. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Make Locked On NBA your second listen every day. Recording this podcast before the playoffs resume on Tuesday night, I will be watching those games and then hosting the Wednesday Locked On NBA podcast, talking about those games. So make sure you head on over to Locked On NBA. Catch me, Tony East from Locked On Pacers, filling in for Jake Madison this Wednesday. We've got rotating hosts. Fun show. Locked on NBA Monday through Friday. Check them out on YouTube. Let's bring Tom back in and talk about Jaylen Brown, who was seen. I saw him on the sideline, just right hamstring, just holding the hamstring a little bit. Looked like he was almost stretching on this, like he was kind of like stretching it out. So he was asked about it after the game, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm okay." Ime was asked about it, and he was like, "I didn't even notice," which I believe because it was opposite the bench. I feel like this is one of those hamstring tightness, but it's before you actually pull the hamstring. You know, if you've had like a regular recurring issue, which I kind of did used to have something like that. You can feel that tightness in, and you're like, I got to stretch this out. This is not good. And if you make a move, and now I never quite moved like Jaylen Brown, not quite. So this close to, no, I never was even close to moving quite like Jaylen Brown. But I am slightly concerned that the tightness seemed to be there. I think, extraordinarily encouraged because of the time off that they have to calm that down, get some electro stim in there, get you into the whirlpool, all of the treatment, massage, and all of that stuff. And I don't know, what's your level of concern? Whoops, you are not. I cannot hear you.
Honestly, when it comes to Jaylen and hamstrings, that's my bad. Honestly, when it comes to Jaylen and hamstrings, I'm moderately concerned. Yeah. Like this is a recurring thing for him, and it's it just really does seem to be just kind of an unfortunate thing that he's going to have to deal with. And look, hamstrings are no joke. Like I know we say this every time somebody hurts their hamstring, but like that is so much of the core of your power, the core of your movement, the core of your leaping, of your cutting, of all this stuff. Like your hamstring is crucial to all of that. So, I mean, it's not insignificant. It's like you said, it's good that they have all this time off. It's good that that he said that he's doing okay. Again, Jalen's a guy who would lie.
Yeah.
And has a history of lying. But he's. Like I remember like a couple of years ago, he was having trouble. He couldn't catch the ball, and and for some reason, and like nobody asked him about it. And I just kind of asked him about it one day, and he was saying he had to wear like a thing that like volleyball players have to wear on their hands, like a pad on there. And it was like that was the reason he was having trouble catching the ball. I was like, you've been having trouble for like a month. It's no wonder. But I do think, like you said, I mean, it is good that he says he's okay. It's good that he's got time off. I think you mentioned Ime not noticing. I thought it was funny when the whatever it was happened, Ime was trying to gather everybody up, and he was like, he kept motioning everybody like, come here, and he kept like looking off, like I was watching on the screen, obviously, and he kept looking off the screen and saying, come here, and it looked like he was motioning at Jaylen, like, what are you doing? Get over here. And I was like, is Jaylen not able to walk over to the bench? Like, what's going on here? That doesn't look good. But obviously, Jaylen joined them eventually. So yeah, I mean, again, hopefully the time off helps because the Celtics need Jaylen Brown, especially like Jaylen usually plays well against the Bucks too. So they really need him to be good.
I do wonder, and I even hesitate to bring this up, but and I say this not as a commentary on faith or anything like that, but the fact is that I think he is observing Ramadan, and no food, no water, sunrise to sunset. So look, I'm not telling him don't do it or anything like that. I'm not absolutely. I hope nobody takes it that way. But we also do have to understand that when you're not drinking all day long and you're a professional athlete, you're losing fluids during the game. I'm curious as to whether that was a function of I needed the fluids. I did notice at some point during the game, like he called over and he had like those coconut, the cardboard bottles, like the coconut water type of thing.
Yeah.
He called over for a drink and he had like one of those. So I think he was like getting like some super nutrient rich kind of drink to kind of like get that into his body as soon as he could, like during the game. So I bring that up because if that did have a role, that's actually a good thing to me, because if it's just because that suggests it might just be some cramping, no flu. Like if it's a bad thing would be it's tightness and that hamstring's ready to pop, ready to strain, and you have something that limits him. If it was he didn't have enough fluids in his body and he was kind of struggling to get those nutrients into his body, and that was a reaction, that's just where his body reacts, I feel more encouraged about that, because like, you know what? He's going to go hydrate after the game. The practices are a more controlled circumstance. And also Ramadan ends on Sunday, which would be the earliest, I think, game 1. So that no longer becomes a thing. He can just eat and drink and just, whatever. So I think if that is the case, if that would be why, then I would be more encouraged. I obviously don't know which one it is, but I think that could be a question that's asked, and we'll see. But you're right. Anything that involves Jaylen's hamstring is a concern.
Yep. And I believe Brian Robb, our pal over at Mass Live, wrote that if the Bucks win on Wednesday, the series could actually begin on Saturday. That would push Jaylen into one more day of fasting and everything. But regardless, I mean, that's a good point. Like you said, it's like when you're dehydrated, it's very, very easy to cramp up, and and also that would explain a little bit why Jaylen was like, yeah, I'm all right. I was dehydrated and I was cramping, right. But I will be fine. So we'll hope for the best on that for sure.
We will. All right. So I guess I got nothing else from this Nets series. I feel like so it was a sweep and there was the defense, and I really don't think there was a big chess match going on. There's not a whole lot to break down here, Yeah,
no, I think the big takeaway that I had from this series, honestly, was, the two big takeaways I had from this series were Jayson Tatum is just like no questions asked, one of your top 10, obviously. He's top 10, and I don't think he's 10. I think he's I think he's up a little bit from that even. And I think the other thing that really fascinates me is Grant Williams. He's up for a rookie extension. What do you pay the guy who just held Kevin Durant to like 30% shooting for an entire series? Like, what do you pay the guy who's been shooting 40% from 3 all year and has started to add like some attacking the closeout dribble moves and all that? Like, that's going to be a real interesting thing this offseason is what he gets. If he gets an offer, what that offer will be, because he's playing himself into some money.
I think, and we can save this because there's going to be a whole off season of comedy. But I think he plays himself into, like, we talked about this. Like, he's going to be the guy that gets like 2 years, $20 million, he's going to get like a series of 10, 12, $13 million contracts, and he will forever be tradable because he's desirable, because he's like, and all right, I'll entertain this quickly. I don't want to go too deep into it because there's a whole podcast to do. But this is exactly what people would say with Grant Williams. Like right now, if the Celtics were to say this offseason there's a guy that they wanted, whatever, I'm not suggesting that there is, and the other team's like, you know what I want? I want Grant Williams. And they'd go, oh, that sucks. But we really want this guy, and you got to pay something to get something.
Yep.
And Grant is going to be the guy that every team wants, no team wants to give up, but he's also not quite untradeable, because you can say, well, we can get other guys to do this, but he's going to make his money. He's going to make plenty of money. And people are going to be like, God, I really didn't want to trade him. But also, I'm very happy that we got this guy, whoever the guy is. And there's going to be like 5 fan bases that do that, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. And which sucks because I like Grant Williams. I'm going to be part of that. Like, I don't want Grant Williams to go anywhere. Actually, I think he's pretty good. But that's what I think his future is, and he's going to make a ton of money doing that.
Yeah, so, I think that's probably a good assessment.
All right, let's look forward. Let's take a moment here. I'm going to grab myself a Built Bar. Figuratively speaking, I already had one because I put it in my backpack when I was traveling. Today's a great example of why I like the Built Bars. I woke up in New York City, I had to hop a subway to get to the airport, and I've been traveling all day, and I never really had a chance to sit down until I got to the airport. But I was hungry. I had a bottle of water, and I had a Built Bar, and that got me through that subway ride and all of my through security. Because look, it's good, it's delicious, 17 grams of protein, so I know it's going to feed my body. Only 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 130 calories or so, somewhere in that range. So it's great in that situation as a snack, a sort of meal replacement, kind of get you through to the next thing. But obviously it's a protein bar, so if you're working out, it's a great protein bar to add to your workout routine, so you get the protein and that stuff into your body as well. If you just want it as a snack, it tastes like a candy bar, and it get basically half the calories and half all the bad stuff, but less than that. Some of these candy bars. So, whatever flavor you like, if you like minty or fruity or chocolatey or peanut butter, there's options for you. There are plenty of other products there, marshmallow base. There's all kinds of different things. You can go to Built.com. And the beauty at Built.com is that you can scroll over the products. You can see the nutritional information because they're not hiding anything from you. They want you to know what's in their product. They stand by it. And like I said, I eat them, and very versatile snack for sure. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCK15. You can use that promo code every single time. Don't worry about burning the promo code. You're going to get 15% off your order when you use it. Built.com, promo code LOCK15, 15% off every single time. All right, Tom, the Celtics are very likely going to face the Milwaukee Bucks. Zach LaVine is in health and safety protocols. So that's scary, by the way, the fact that guys are starting to show up back in health and safety protocols.
It's like we never left, baby.
I know, right? Like we're at a point now where the restrictions are, you can wear a mask if you want, still wear the mask all over the place if you want. But if you don't have to wear it in Barclays, and you don't have to wear it at the Garden anymore. You can just walk around, and that seems to be maybe people whatever. So health and safety is a thing again. So Bucks are probably going to handle their business pretty soon. We'll see when that first round series starts. Obviously, the Celtics defense is going to be what everybody talks about, but you can't guard Giannis the way you guard Durant, because you got to be way up on Durant because he can shoot. How about that shot, that little one-legged three-pointer that he just kind of sort of flicked in that touched almost nothing? And like Marcus Smart, that look, did you see the reaction? Marcus just kind of like hangs back because he's like, I'm not going to foul this, so we're up 4.
Yeah.
And KD casually drops a one-legged running, fading three-pointer. Marcus is like, damn.
It was either that, or it was like, come on, dude. Now we got to hit 2 more free throws.
No, I think it was a reaction to that shot because it was so casual, and that thing touched nothing. That touched nothing. I think that was. I mean, he's just something else. Oh that just goes to show that, unlike the one possession where the Celtics didn't hound him, he just drops that thing like nothing. And it's a ridiculous shot. I could take that shot 100 times and maybe hit it once. You know what I mean? Like, that's like,
I hit it about as many times as KD.
Yeah. Once. And he just like, that's nothing to him. Nothing. So the Celtics let him get loose for that shot, and he hits it. So obviously that's not exactly in Giannis's repertoire.
Right.
So you can play off of him, but you do have to play him differently. And there's that whole building the wall and all this other stuff. I'm just curious, what the Celtics are going to do, how they're going to play that, and just how many different, like, where does Rob start? Where does Horford start? How do you go big? Do you go small? I think that's going to be like the biggest question. How do you handle Giannis at first, especially that Middleton is out?
Right. I think Middleton is the big thing, but I think to me, what if I'm the Celtics? The way, and look, I mean, Ime will, I'm sure, have a much better plan than whatever, crap I'm about to spew out there. But I do think,
Oh, hold
like,
on. Just get my pen and paper and we'll see.
yeah, write it down. Write this down. Write this down because this is for Ime, just to prove to him that I am ready for the job of
yes.
I'm ready for the job of breaking down the film of the Chicago Bulls. So,
hey, Ime, if you need anybody to break down film of players of teams you're not going to play, I know a guy.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what I would probably do is, like, Durant, you had to double team him often, right? Like, you had to double team him coming off the pick and roll. You had to, like, do all this stuff to try to slow him down. And I think if with Giannis, I think that the best way to try to slow him is to throw Al Horford at him, throw Grant Williams at him. Just do what you can, and don't let everybody else kill you, because, like, Giannis will hurt you, but you've got good, strong, like, athletic defenders who can try to do what they can, at least make it harder on him. Maybe make him shoot like 42% instead of 58% from the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, he's shooting mostly twos. So that's very different than Kevin Durant hitting one-legged three-pointers or pulling up like if you blow the coverage and you have to go under the screen, him stopping and hitting a three. That's not going to happen with Giannis. So to me, it would just be do what you can guarding him one-on-one and don't let the rest of the team beat you, and just kind of see what happens there.
I like that plan. I wasn't writing down notes. I drew a caricature of myself.
I thought you were writing down notes. Do I have to say it all over again?
Yeah, can you do that again? Because I was...
All right, so I think
it is. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's a pretty good caricature. That was very quick.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah. That's a little treat for you YouTubers.
It's just a little something.
This is how you get over 5,000 subscribers. This is how you do it.
This is how we do it, right? Yeah. I have 5,500 now, just about.
Crazy.
Right? You don't get this stuff just anywhere, people. Yeah, I missed everything. No. So yeah, I do think that, look, you can sell out a little bit. Look, Grayson Allen. I can't believe I have to watch Grayson Allen play a series. Anyway, we'll dive into that later. If Grayson Allen beats you, then Grayson Allen beats you. And I think that's going to be where they go with this. My biggest concern, just off the top of my head, defending Giannis, yes, because the gravity is just going to open things up. I think discipline-wise, they have to make sure just everything they can to have him stay in front and not be afraid to foul. But also, like, don't just foul, because he's still going to go through you. Like, this isn't Nick Claxton. He's still going to hit shots.
Right.
But also on the other end,
poor Nick Claxton,
right? On the other end, I do have a level of concern about Lopez, because the one thing, and the reason why I even said Celtics in 5 against Brooklyn, was they have no defense, like no defense. And the Celtics always had somewhere to pick. You can try to pull Lopez. You can try to pull him out of the paint. He's not gonna.
He's just not.
But this is going to be a mid-range shooting series, it feels like. And Tatum has gotten to a level where he's just awesome. Side note, we're going to have to see next year if Tatum does the slow start, strong finish thing again, because it's 2 years in a row now. I want to know if this is a weird thing or just who he is. Anyway, back to the beginning. If they are protecting the rim and Tatum can't get to the rim and they can't get the free throws, and this becomes a mid-range shooting series, I don't know how it goes. And that, because Giannis is still going to get to the rim no matter what.
Yes.
Like, he is going to get to the rim. But the rest of this is going to be a mid-range shooting series. And the Celtics have good mid-range shooters. Jaylen is good. Jayson is good. He's gotten really good. Marcus can hit. I mean, there are a lot of guys who can hit these mid-range shots, and that might be it. But I don't know. Rim protection has always hindered the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, and the Bucks do, like, they're not a great like 3-point defense either.
No,
So
they're
like there will be plenty of threes available too. It might become like rather than a mid range, it might become a jump shooting series. Like who makes their jumpers, right? Like
Right.
if like here's hoping for the Celtics because like I don't know, like that adds an element of randomness to it that I'm sure Ime would like to eliminate if at all possible. But but like you said, like, you go up and down that Nets line or that Bucks lineup, there just aren't the same holes that there are with the Nets. Like that Nets like 3-guard lineup is just like a rotisserie chicken, and the like it's not a they're not a strong defensive team. Their bigs can't really guard, none of that. The Bucks are a very different, very 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 different type of team. So it'll be fun. I think that this series could be. It was funny hearing people be like, "Oh wow, this is like the Eastern Conference Finals in the first round." No, it wasn't. The Nets were not that good. The Bucks are that good. So it would not shock me if this was.
You can't say that about a sweep. I mean, they played hard. All 4 games were very, very tough. But you can't say that about a sweep. That's not Eastern Conference Finals. No. The Bucks, yes, for sure. Grant Williams could be the most important player in this series again. Mr. Corner 3-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
They give up a ton of those.
They do.
And I mean.
And he'll get some Giannis. He'll get some Giannis time, too.
Get Giannis time.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost like a preview because we're going to talk about all this stuff. Like, watch like Derek White. Like, Derek White needs to it's almost like major league. Like what's his name? Serrano needs to sacrifice a chicken so he can hit the curveball. Like, Derek White needs to do something to start hitting these 3-pointers because I know he's not a great shooter, but he's not this bad.
Yeah.
He needs to start dropping some of these corner threes. But Grant was such an I don't want to say underrated hero in that first round series, but he's going to be huge in this second round as well because corner threes, man, if he's drilling those corner threes, if he's shooting like he did in the past couple of games, then you're going to see that. You're going to see that little celebration. No, he's the one that does the. He does the. Does he do the?
I think he does this.
I gotta look at the pictures. Yeah. I don't know.
Again, riveting podcasting. I think Grant does the
OK
3, the pinky, the ring finger, and the middle finger. 3.
That one.
Yeah.
Versus the double. I
don't think he does the one with the.
Yeah. The people who are listening, I apologize. There's the double-barreled 3 where you hold up your thumb and your forefinger and your middle finger. So that's like the 2. So that's the 3. Or no one does the 3 like this. No one does the I swear like Boy Scout 3. I find that one uncomfortable. I always go with the OK 3, which I know that there are people who want to turn that into something not. But this is a basketball 3-point celebration. You want to go Carmelo and tap your head with it? That's fine, but I don't know.
I would love if there was like a player out there who every time he scored a 2 just ran down the court doing like a peace sign.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That would be very funny.
Every mid-range, like Chris Paul, every mid-range shot he hits just 2 points to his head, like Carmelo. He would have bruises. Oh God, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
how about, just take it all the way down to the free throws.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I got one more. I got one more. I got one more.
I love it. All right. We'll wrap it up right there. We'll see when game 1 is. Hopefully it'll be God, I hope it's not Saturday. I hope it's Sunday. But we'll figure it out. Whatever it is. And we'll be talking about it. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And I appreciate you listening to the show. Watching the show on YouTube. It's always fun to have you here. Thank you for the support. Yeah, the YouTube channel is up at around 5,500 now subscriptions. The Locked On Celtics podcast is now creeping around the top 100 on Apple of all sports podcasts. Locked On Celtics is now the #1 podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. So that's pretty fun. Partly because the Celtics are good and everybody wants to listen to us. For all the support, thank you for listening. Thank you all the new subscribers. And a lot of that is courtesy of the regular subscribers who have been here for a while, sharing the podcast. I would appreciate it if you do it again. Tell everybody to listen to and watch the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.